everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to kind of change it up and do more of a mental health video. I really have been wanting to kind of do a check-in with my mental health, especially during this quarantine, especially with all the stuff going on in the world right now. And I figured what better way to do that but to sit down on my channel. I do this. I've done it before. If you haven't watched any of my other mental health or infertility videos, I kind of go into a little bit of detail about my mental health in those videos, but I'm going to be getting into kind of how I've been feeling lately over the past few months and get into that. So before we get started, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified of all my future videos. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so literally, like, how's everybody doing? This has not been easy. I suffer from anxiety and depression. I have suffered from anxiety since I was like 13. I'm 28 right now, and depression, I think, started about 10 years ago. So I have not found that right cocktail of medications quite yet to be able to fully say, okay, I definitely feel like my anxiety is under control. I definitely feel like my depression's under control. My anxiety is a very daily anxiety. I always, in my head, am overthinking and planning and worrying about something that in the moment where I should be relaxing, I can't do that. So my mind is constantly thinking about, you know, okay, what am I gonna have for dinner? Okay, I have to make sure I have this for dinner because I need to make sure I lose weight, and I need to make sure that I'm staying on track with what I need to do. And okay, it looks like my dog has to go out, so is Sean gonna take him out? Am I gonna take him out? Okay, I need to make sure I give my cat her ear medication. Like, am I gonna have a really tough time grabbing her? It's just like all of that happens in one sitting of just like a span of like a minute. And I didn't initially think it was an issue until I brought it up to my psychiatrist and my therapist, and they're like, yeah, that's a problem. You shouldn't have that many racing thoughts or anything like that when you're trying to have like a relaxed moment, when you truly don't need to worry about things like that. My other anxieties is just I always feel like a part of my body has to be moving, even when I'm sitting down or in a still position. Like, I have to be moving my legs or have to be, you know, honestly, when I was younger, I used to rock back and forth. And I know a lot of people make jokes about, oh my gosh, that's what, like, you know, retarded people do, or you need to go to a loony bin for that. And honestly, I would do that as a way of comfort. It's like, you know, I normally, you know, and I feel like it sounds like I am insane, but it's a calming rocking, you know, almost like you're being rocked if you're a baby, and it stops the baby from crying. And that has always been something that I lean towards when I'm very anxious. But with that being said, it has been, honestly, the quarantining for me has been a good and a bad thing. So I started working from home in March, like March 20th, and working from home has its advantages and disadvantages. You know, there is that added, like, okay, this is awesome. You know, I get to just wake up, roll out of bed, open my laptop up. But I also felt like it really kind of didn't help my depression. Because what I struggled with in the past, especially with miscarriages, was that urge to wake up in the morning. And I still feel like I kind of battle with that today. What kind of helped me in that was I listened to, every day I listened to a personal development, whether that be like a motivational thing, or whether that be like a TED talk for motivation or happiness, or just Mel Robbins, who is a really amazing speaker. And she had kind of this mindset reset 30-day thing that was uploaded to YouTube, and I kind of was watching that. And she had this idea for a morning routine that she swears by. And at first I was like, okay, this isn't really going to make me feel better. But it's basically leave your phone outside of your bedroom, charged, plugged in, go to bed without your phone. And for the longest time I would go to sleep without, I would go to sleep with my phone, because we need to check on we need to check what's going on with Instagram, we need to see if anybody's commented on your YouTube videos, watch your YouTube videos, we need to check on Facebook, we need to check blah, 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 blah. Like, it's insane how much social media plays like a role in our lives, which is insane. But anyway, I would spend maybe an extra hour while I'm trying to go to sleep in bed just scrolling, and now there's the added bonus of TikTok, which keeps me on there forever until I have to tell myself, put your phone down. But keep your phone outside your room, so that way you can lay in bed without a phone. And whenever your alarm goes off in the morning, don't hit snooze, do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and get out of bed. And when I first heard that, I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, counting down from 5 is gonna help me. Like, doesn't hitting snooze help me, like that extra 2 minutes? And it turns out like hitting snooze doesn't really help you. I don't know if anybody knows that, but hitting snooze actually makes it worse, because your brain starts getting into that sleep cycle, and then you wake up 2 minutes later and you're actually crankier than when you initially woke up. And I didn't know that. I am the queen of snooze. I would hit snooze the maximum amount of times until my alarm actually went off, until my alarm actually stopped doing snooze, and then I would be late for work. And that happens so often. But I have been doing that method, and even after waking up, don't look at your phone for 10 to 30 minutes in the morning. That was difficult too. She basically said spend those 10 to 30 minutes doing something for yourself. So whether that be journaling, meditation, focusing on whatever your goal is, your dreams are, whatever that is, spend that first 10 to 30 minutes of your morning. And she just assured this sets your morning. And I bought her 5-second journal, and every morning when I wake up, I either do meditation, which has really helped me, or I sit down and I journal in her book for 10 minutes. But meditation has been another thing where I would laugh at. I would be like, okay, how is sitting here breathing deeply for 10 minutes going to really help me? But I do have to say, it doesn't, I still have irritability throughout my day. I still have, the anxiety and everything, but there's a sense of when you're done, you opening your eyes and just feeling like if that makes sense. And it doesn't stay with me throughout the day. Being in quarantine, my boyfriend stopped working in April because of the coronavirus, and we've been quarantining together since April. And me and my boyfriend have been living together for years, but it's mainly just the everyday morning to night being with your partner, with no break. I mean, sometimes physically going to work and being away from each other kind of gives you guys that space. So, I mean, the good thing is we've each found something that we do on our own. Like, he likes to go bike riding in the trails without me, and then I, do my meditation, my journaling, and my working out without him. And even now I'm recording this in the morning when he's sleeping, so it kind of gives that room. But yeah, I found that doing that morning routine has definitely helped my anxiety, especially with this lockdown. I know some states are no longer in lockdown. However, if you look at the climbing numbers of the coronavirus wherever you are, I still consider myself in quarantine, because there's no need to put yourself in a situation where you are risking your health just to go eat at a restaurant, or just to go, at the beach, like where there's thousands of people. It's not worth it to me personally, and that's just my personal take. I physically don't go out unless I'm walking around my neighborhood with Sean or my dog, or we're going grocery shopping, which we try to be in and out, or going to the chiropractor right now because I hurt my back a couple weeks ago. So that is something I'm very adamant about. So when I say quarantine, it's just me personally quarantining because I want to make sure that I'm safe, my family's safe, and that's that. But I definitely feel like even though I am grateful I still have my job, I am able to work from home, it's tough sometimes. Like, you know, it's tough mainly because I'm at a job I'm not really passionate about. It's not something that career-wise I want to stay in. I'm definitely working on my weight loss so that way, you know, I can feel more confident and hopefully start going into the career field that I want to go into. But it's mainly difficult because you just get that sense of like non-urgency when you're so laxed and like tired, and at least when you're in an office environment you have to stay awake. Like, you can't really you can doze off, but you have to stay very alert, and there's just so many things because you drive to work, so that gives you time to wake up, and then, you know, you have your, you know, office desk and, you know, staying there, and there's just so many different variables in working from home because obviously you have a very big sense of comfort in your home, and then, you know, have the irritation of my dog barking while I'm on phone calls, or my boyfriend's a very big gamer, so when he gets frustrated he raises his voice not knowing that I'm on the phone. So it's a little annoying, I have to say, but I am grateful that I still have a job. I know not many people are fortunate enough to still have a job right now with the layoffs and things like that from the virus, but I feel like one thing that I've been able to do in quarantine that I haven't really done is probably, like I've done before, is my mental health. I definitely before wouldn't feel like watching 10 to 20 minutes of a motivational TED Talk or anything like that was really going to benefit me. And it was actually my Herbalife coach who was the one that said, you need to do this every day. And I do. I pull up a 10 to 20 minute TED Talk and they really help me. They don't, I mean, it's not a process that in a week will be gone. Like, I've been trying to find the right kind of anxiety and depression medication for 7 years, truly, and it's obviously 7 years I still haven't been able to really find that, and it's something I'm still working on. But I would have never thought, listening to somebody talk about, you know, where you should find happiness and what you can do for this, and, you know, how to work on self-control and how to work on this. Like, I never thought that would actually be something that helps, and surprisingly it does help. I always find little bits to take with me, and I'm the worst person at like taking my own advice. Like, I'll dish advice all day, but I'm the worst person to take my own advice. And I don't know, it feels really good to hear like a very inspirational story or hear a very motivational story. It feels good, and that's something that I probably wouldn't have done had it been for this quarantine. And even though my Herbalife coach recommended it, there's a lot more. I mean, obviously when you're at work you can't like pull your phone out and watch YouTube videos and all that, where I can do that in the comfort of my own home, and still focus on my work but listen to it while that's being done. And it definitely, I thank the quarantine for that. And I also feel like there's downsides to quarantine. I mean, in this quarantine, because I have really bad anxiety, you know, there's just been the anxiety, you know, checking the numbers for Delaware for the coronavirus and just seeing how many deaths there are and like the number of positive cases that go up. And then honestly, this Black Lives Matter movement, just the complete and utter just cruelty of what happened with George Floyd. It always really bothered me when I would see things in the news or videos, and honestly there aren't that many videos that I've seen, but the George Floyd one definitely made me harp on that for a little bit, because it was just such a cruel situation that really put me in like a depression in a way. And then, you know, the protests and just still the same thing happening, just the brutality of it, the lack of respect for it, just when it comes to the, you know, police against Black lives. And I've seen so many videos of even white people, Spanish people, just being treated with like the utmost disrespect and brutality, you know, even when they weren't doing anything wrong. And I feel like for sure I've harped on that, because it is a depressing situation. Like, not only is the world going through a pandemic right now where you have to literally wear a face mask everywhere you go, which is a new reality for me. You have to make sure that you're 6 feet apart, and you know, if you get the virus, like, you could die. Like, this isn't like, oh, when you get the flu, like, you could really die. And that's scary in itself. And then on top of that, you have this Black Lives Matter movement where it's like there's actual video footage of essentially a police officer killing someone, and doing it in such a grace where there's like nothing wrong, and it's disgusting. And it makes me feel like, oh my God, is the world ending right now? Like, what is going on? And I really tend to harp and overthink on situations like that, because then I just think like there's so many things that run through my head, and that puts me in a depressed state. And you know, the Glee actress Naya Rivera, I wasn't even a huge, like, I wasn't following her career. I stopped watching Glee years ago. Like, I didn't even finish all the seasons, but I knew of her, and I knew she had a son. And, you know, to hear about her story, you know, where she, you know, passed away in a lake when she was out with her son, and, you know, I followed up on that, like, oh my God, did they find her body? Did they this? And they found her body. And, you know, she put like a post a week ago saying life is short, tomorrow's not promised. And it's just like, this is depressing. Like that stuff is just so depressing to me. And I feel like that's something that, in like dealing with that, just makes my anxiety like over the moon, because it's just, I really don't handle death well. I think I'm actually afraid of death, honestly. You know, I've lost people in my life, and it was super depressing for me, important people. And I'm afraid of it. And, you know, the more and more I hear people dying in this, it just makes me very anxious. If I haven't said the word anxious enough, it makes me very anxious. But I mean, there are good and bad things that have come out of this quarantine for sure. You know, I try and do the best I can mentally every day. But, you know, sometimes because I'm just in the house so much, I just end up taking a nap after work, and that feels great. But, you know, I definitely feel like I've never taken the time, like after dealing with a trauma like my miscarriages, or, you know, losing family members, you know, like emotional things I went through as a child. Like, I don't think that I ever like really took the time to allow myself to relax or, you know, take that time out for things, because I always felt like I needed to be on to the next thing. Like, I needed to be, I've always kind of been the provider, you know, that motherly figure. And, you know, when you have a child, you really can't stop, right? You have to make sure that they're taken care of because they can't take care of themselves. And I don't have any children yet. So it definitely has been an eye-opener that, like, I need to give myself time and, like, not beat myself up on things. And, you know, like with my weight loss, I mean, in the past 2 years, I've lost 3 babies. So clearly my body, you know, has had an up and down situation. I used to be like 50 pounds lighter, 60 pounds lighter, and I gained all of that back because of my depression and my miscarriages and losing a family member. And, you know, advice has been to take that time for myself, understand that I've been through a lot. And I mean, the good thing is, another benefit to the quarantine is you get to do video chats with your doctors, and thank God, because I don't like being in an office with other people right now, because they just have some people just have no respect for the 6 feet. Some people don't really care that there's a virus going around. So it is definitely an added benefit. And especially with it's as easy as, I'm gonna clock out for lunch and then go to my room and speak to my therapist. And that's a pretty cool added bonus to it too. But yeah, just like check in with yourself. I hope everybody is mentally doing okay. Just, you know, check in with yourself. Like, if you're staying inside and quarantining like I am, you know, make sure that you're at least like going for a walk, getting some kind of outside air. You know, just making sure that you're not, you know, too deep in your mind, if that makes sense. And it's like coming from somebody who's like in their mind 24/7. But just check in with yourself and like give yourself whatever inner, I'm trying to make this make sense. Cut yourself some slack if you need to, and just really take advantage of the fact that this is a quarantine, or we're the type of situation we're in. And if you need, let's say if you just feel like you're so depressed with whatever else you're going through with this quarantine, you're not really leaving the house, like give yourself permission to like take a nap because you feel exhausted. Like, give yourself just slack that this quarantine has made everybody's mental health kind of come to the forefront, and it's not something that we can just scoop under the rug anymore. Personally, I feel like that's what it is. So we have no choice but to deal with our mental health head on, and it really depends on how you want to deal with it. And I just choose to push forward, take advantage of this time that I have. Hopefully it doesn't last forever, but if it does, you know, I'm definitely going to take advantage of it. But yeah, I just wanted to check in, just do kind of a mental health thing with you guys, and just see how you're doing, let you know how I'm doing. I am doing okay. I am doing good. Everybody's safe in my very close circle. Nobody has the virus, thank God. I don't. Sean doesn't. We're all good here. But yeah, that's all I really had in today's video. I just really wanted to just give you guys an update on my mental health, see how you guys are doing. Just make sure you drop down in the comments below how you've been doing. I definitely read all of my comments in my videos because there's not very many. And you know, if you need support, definitely comment down below, and I would love to, you know, chat with some of you guys if any of you guys are struggling or anything like that. But yeah, be sure to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed my content today, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.